I had two very, very, very interesting experiences coming back from Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael the Shabbos was incredible. You've been to that Shabbos?
Yeah.
It was last year, right? Yeah. It was incredible. We had 70 guys this time. Big, and it was intense like anything.
Those are 70 guys who are coming for sure? Or?
The time Shabbos is over, maybe 80. I don't know. It was very
What do you mean
intense.
intense?
It was like, I don't know, it was just like...
Is that the vibe you guys were going for?
Yes, not in a exhausting way. It was like charged. Like you felt it in the air. It wasn't like a sleepy Shabbos at all.
Right.
Okay, so anyway, two very interesting experiences on the way home. They're both a little embarrassing, but it's kedai because there's something to learn from. So I've been traveling a lot, especially over the last year. I besides the fact that I was in Eretz Yisrael a few weeks ago, but I also went in the summer because of the Overlanders Shleishim I went in to speak for, and then I went twice last year. So between all of that, my status in El Al started to go up. And I became a gold status. And while I was in Eretz Yisrael, I got an email from them that I graduated to platinum. So you guys be careful, platinum El Al guy.
What does that mean? Like first class seats?
I don't know. No, it doesn't mean first class seats, but all other benefits of first class. In other words, I go on special lines and special security lines and everything. And you sit in the lounges. You go to the lounges. So which is nice. It does help. It is helpful, especially because they serve food, so you don't have to worry about what you're going to eat in the airport. It is helpful, but I'm telling you, these lounges are an ego trip. You like the little people stay there by the gate, and the Besser mention they go to the lounges. So anyway, I show up at the airport at Monday morning. My flight is at 1:00, and I check in, and. I checked in by the regular people's line. I didn't realize that I'm a Besser Mensch. The lady told me, you don't have to be on this line. I said, I know. No, I didn't know. But anyway, I go in. So you can't make this stuff up, okay? I go into the lounge, the King David lounge, and they tell me we're doing renovations now. Go to Concourse C. Go to our lounge there. I go to Concourse C. It's locked. There's a sign on the door. Go to Concourse B. I'm schlepping my stuff and this and that. I go to Concourse B. I go in. I give my boarding pass. They're like, you're in the wrong place. Go to Concourse E. I started off in D, went to C, to B, to E. Okay? I'm thinking to myself, wow, it takes a lot of kayach to be like a privileged character. Like a lot of mysterious nefesh. Had I just sat down like a normal person in the gate, I would have been sitting a half hour ago. But because I'm working hard to be a privileged character, it's not pashut, You have to work hard to be a privileged character. So there's a little bit of like a mussar shmooze to me. Like sometimes like what we're roidif in life, And I had this I'll tell you my mussar shmooze from this morning in a moment, but so that was that. And then we had a great flight, Baruch Hashem. It was a very good flight, and I accomplished a lot. Prepared today's shir, Baruch Hashem. And then I came out of the plane, and Mo was picking me up, and we were waiting for the luggage. I told you what happened with the luggage? So waiting for the luggage. So it takes a while sometimes, and there's no method for this. Like there are people that are on the crew that wait for a long time for the luggage. There's no method, I guess, because of the way that they have to set it up in the bottom of the plane. There's no such a thing that if you travel priority, if you're a platinum member, your luggage comes out sooner. Even though it says on your luggage priority, but it doesn't mean you have priority. It just makes you feel good. Okay? So it's not interesting. Anyway, I'm watching the luggage. I'm trying to respond to emails and everything while I'm standing there. I'm trying, because I know I'm going to collapse. Yesterday at 12 o'clock, I collapsed. Like I knew at some point I was going to collapse, I was on adrenaline when we were spending time together, So I'm trying to get a lot done and so on. And the luggage is coming around. It's very few suitcases in the beginning. And then I see this thing. It's like this hanging bag, zipped closed, similar to the suitcase that I have, but much smaller. Like it's so interesting. It's similar to the one that I have, but it's not mine. Mine also had a white piece of tape across it. This one didn't. Then it goes around again. I'm like, mine is bigger than that, right? Mine has a white piece of tape. No, it's not mine. Mo texts me, are you coming out? I'm like, I'm waiting for my luggage. That was the only thing I was waiting for was this one piece. Comes around again. I'm like, I should check if this is mine. I pull the thing up, Sonnenschein. Okay, it was mine, and the white thing was on the other side of it. And I just didn't recognize it from that side. Okay? What's the Musa Shmuz? The Musa Shmuz is, it took me a while to realize this. The Musa Shmuz is that sometimes in life, you're so busy looking for other things that you don't realize that you have already your thing. And you're sitting and waiting for the Yeshua to come, but Hashem already sent it to you. And it doesn't help that He sent it to you if you don't realize that it's yours. Isn't that interesting? I want to tell you Maisa. This morning, I had a phone call from a Talmud of mine. Okay? This guy is a very, very, very special person. And he has a business. I don't want to give away who it is, so I'm not going to tell you what the business is. But he has a business. And he set up his business in such a manner that he has a good chunk of a couple of hours a day that he could learn. And a few days ago, he got an offer from some wealthy Balabatim to subsume his business into theirs, to take a percentage of their company, and to double his revenue immediately by 2 or 2.5 times. And ultimately, their plan was that within a few years, he would have $5 million in the bank. And I had been talking to him a bunch of times over the last few days, negotiating with them what he should do, should he look into this, and so on. While I was driving here this morning, he calls me back. He wants to know, is it mutter for him to turn down the offer? Interesting question, right? So what do you mean? He says, I don't know what to tell you. I want to learn Torah. Torah, a little light on it, Torah. I want to learn Torah. I don't want to be wealthy. I don't care about money. I care about learning. And I get to learn every day. And now I appreciate it. Now that I have this option to leave, he's like, I'm happy this possibility came up. Because now I realize I'm not forced into this life. Someone's offering me a few $1 million. I could do something else. But I don't want that. Because I have a quality of life now. I have a mishpacha that I could pay attention to, and I have a few hours a day that I could learn Torah. And I would rather have that than a few $1 million. Am I turning away a gift from Hashem if I just say, no, thank you, I would like to learn Torah? You hear? He wanted to know if it's mutter for him to turn it down. I thought of my suitcase going around. He's looking at it like, oh, 1 second, this is mine. I love this. I want this. This is my chelik. I'm not looking for something else to come out of the thing. I already have what I want. I told him it's mutter. You don't have to take the job. He said to me, Rebbe, I am walking on air. I am the happiest person in the world right now. I get to learn Torah and to keep my life the way it is. I'm so happy. Not the same type of tone of what we're used to, no? I started getting teary-eyed. I called my wife. I was like, how did I have this chus to have a Talmud like that? How did that happen? I thought of my suitcase going around, it was mine. I was like, no, mine is bigger. Mine is bigger. This is very small, that one. Mine is bigger. No, that's yours. Take it. Love it. Use it. Appreciate it. That's my chelik. Hashem already gave me my chelik. Stop looking for something else to come out of the chute. Hashem already gave me my chelik, and it's a good chelik, and it's the right chelik for me, and it's what belongs for me. This is my chelik. I was very, very overwhelmed. That's how I got here this morning. Very, very overwhelmed from it. Ashreinu matayv chalkeinu. Should appreciate our chelik. Okay, let's go back to Mesilas Yesharim. Perek Yotes. So we started to talk about step 1 was to recognize that Hashem is with us. Step 2 was to recognize how great Hashem is. Step 3 was to recognize how small we are, which, as we said last time, doesn't mean that we feel tiny. It means that we realize that despite how small we are, Hashem wants to spend time with us. An overwhelming feeling. Step 4 is to realize that not only are we small, but through our Averis we've become smaller. And yet Hashem still wants us. Kol Shekain, the second to last line on page Tzadi Hey. Kol Shekain, lefi hachatoim shechota me'oidoi. I know I had gone further. Certainly, according to the Averis that he did me'oidoi when he was younger, ki al kol eila I efshar shelo yecharad liboy. It's impossible that he shouldn't be afraid. V'lo yirash, he shouldn't be storming inside. V'oidoi medaber dvarav lefanav yizbarach, while he's speaking his words in front of Hashem, umazkir b'shmoi, and mentioning his name, umishtada leheiratzos by, and trying to be merutza, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should have nachas from him. That's the joy and the fear that we have at the same time. And we know we haven't necessarily done what was expected of us. We know that we've done things we shouldn't, and maybe we haven't lived up to the kayach that Hashem gave us. You know, that's amazing. In Shmuel, a little further than we were up to. We have to move a little further than we were up to. So we're in the middle of learning in Sefer Shmuel. For those that aren't in the Shir, we're in the middle of learning in Sefer Shmuel the appointment of Shaul HaMelech to be the king. And we just finished Shaul HaMelech's appointment by Shmuel. And now Shaul went off on a journey that Shmuel was predicting what will happen each step of the journey to prepare him for Malchus. And eventually Shaul becomes king. And Klal Yisrael rejects him. And then there's a threat from a neighboring Melech. And Shaul HaMelech saves the people. And they accept him as a Melech. And then when things are finally settled, and Shaul HaMelech is the accepted king of Klal Yisrael, then Shmuel gets up to give Musar finally about the fact that they asked for a king. That they shouldn't have asked for a king, and they asked for one. When you ask for a king, it shows a lack of closeness to the king up there. And they shouldn't have needed an intermediary. Okay, we'll talk more about that when we get there. But Shmuel gives them very strong Musar. Very strong, fierce Musar. You have to be a real man to be able to take Musar like that. It's not for the faint-hearted. And Klal Yisrael responds to that Musar. And they say Vidui, and they admit to their chait. Shmuel tells them, stay with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what he tells them in response to their tshuva. And what I hear in those words, I'll show it to you in the words, Be'ezer Hashem, when we get there. But what I hear in those words is that a lot of times when we do Averos, we don't believe Hashem is still interested in us. And we stop trying. And we get off the bandwagon. And we stop believing in Hashem's believing in us. Hashem believes in us. But we have to believe that Hashem believes in us. And that's the job. A person that looks at his chait as if it's permanent destruction, when he thinks about the fact that he did a chait, he's like, okay, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not with me anymore. No. Hashem is with you. You did the chait, and Hashem is with you still. It's overwhelming, it's upsetting, and it's incredible. I did the chait, and Hashem is still with me. And that's what he goes on here. I mentioned this last time as I was heading to the airport. This is what the Torah says. Ivdu es Hashem b'yira. Serve Hashem with yira. V'gilu bir'ada. Rejoice with trembling. As you're trembling, oy vey, I'm not deserving of Hashem's closeness. You're still joyful, and yet Hashem chooses to be close to me. Unbelievable. Uksiv kel na'arotz b'soyd kedoshim rabba. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a strong melech with among the kedoshim, v'noira, and he's awesome. That's a lashon of yira al kol savivov, and all of those that are surrounding him. Ki hamalachim lihiyoisam yoiser krevim elav yizbarach mibnei haguf hachamri. Malachim, because they are closer to him, because they don't have the chatzitza of a physical body, our physical body separates between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it makes it harder for us to touch Him, to be masig Him. Our physicality blocks us, makes it hard for us to be masig Him. But malachim that are purely ruchni, they're able to feel the impact of the Hashras HaShechina in a much more profound way, and therefore they're much more affected by the Yirah Shamayim. You know, there's the Gemara says in Chagiga in the second parak, Shua, you have to do the second parak, right? You finishing the second? Well, so, right, you finished, yeah. The Gemara says that the Chayos HaKodesh, the Srafim V'Oifan and the Chayos HaKodesh. So Srafim are so affected by Yirah Shamayim that they're constantly burned up and recreated, because they're created. They realize they're in front of Hashem and they're consumed by Yirah Shamayim. They're just consumed by the awe of being in front of Hashem. The Chayos HaKodesh, whatever this means, it's a more mashalim, but just to understand, there's a river of fire called Nahar Dinur. River Dinur is fire. Nahar Dinur is a river of fire formed by the sweat of the malachim that's formed from the Yirah Shamayim that they're in front of Hashem. And that river of fire is what punishes Rishon that didn't have Yirah Shamayim. Ouch. That's malachim. Okay? So Kal Lahem Yaiser, it's easier for them L'damois Shevach Gedulasai to envision the greatness of Hashem. Al Kain Moiroi Aleim Yaiser Mimashu Al Bnei Adam. Therefore they have more Yirah Shamayim than we do. They just realize it more. They can feel it more than us. The Omnam David HaMelech Olav HaShalom Haya Mishabeach V'Oimer. David would be Mishabeach and say, Eshtachave El Heichal Kodshecha B'Yirasecha. I will bow in front of your holy Heichal with your Yira. You ever sit around? Want to see something amazing? See something phenomenal? I don't know how many of you say Matoivu. Most people eventually stop saying Matoivu. But let me read Matoivu with you. It's just something amazing, okay? There's this mixture of love and awe that we're supposed to have from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? Matoivu is said by this person who's coming into shul or into the Beis Medrash, right? Listen to this amazing thing. Matoivu oy halecha Yaakov, mishkanaisecha Yisrael. How good are your tents, Yaakov, your Mishkan Yisrael? A tent is like your home. A Mishkan is a place of Ashrayas HaShechina. Mishkan, Makayim Shechina. The Beis HaMikdash or the Beis HaKnesses or the Beis HaMikdash is both for us. When you're sitting in the Beis Medrash, at the same time you're sitting in Hashem's Mishkan, but you're also sitting in your home. You're invited here. You belong here. It's your Oyhel. At the same time, Matoivu Oyhel Lecha Yaakov, Mishkanaisecha Yisrael. Now, we just read the pasuk of Eshtachave El Heichal Kodshecha B'Yirasecha, right? Let's read the beginning of that pasuk. Va'ani B'roiv Chastecha Avay Beisecha. With your tremendous chesed, I come into your home. Hashem is so good to us. Eshtachave El Heichal Kodshecha B'Yirasecha. You hear the balance? Hashem, thank you for opening your home to me. You're so kind. And I bow with awe in front of you. Only we have that kind of relationship with Hashem. Love and awe. Love and awe. The back and forth. Love and awe. Hashem, Ahavti ma'oin beisecha. I love the presence of your home. I love being in your home. Umekai mishkan kevaydecha. And the place of the mishkan of your honor. That's the relationship that a person has with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's important to realize that. Uksiv v'pnei shemi nichasu. In front of my name, he's lowered. In other words, that's also a lashon of yira. V'omer Elokai boishti v'nechlamti. I am shy and humiliated. Shy and embarrassed, I would say. It's probably more appropriate. Laharim Elokai panai elecha, to lift my face to you, Hashem, which is a form of tefillah that we have. We have something called tachnon, and that's a form of tefillah, of covering our faces. It's a certain type of relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When we cover our face by Tachanun, what we're saying is that we recognize that we're not worthy of Hashem's presence. But are we in Hashem's presence? We are. That's the problem. People make this mistake. They think that I'm not worthy of Hashem's presence, so therefore I'm not in Hashem's presence. You don't see that here at all. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to recognize that we're physical people. We're very low on the totem pole. And we did Averis. We're even lower than that. We're underground. And Hashem's like, and I will be with you. Right? We say on Shabbos, Shoichein ad moroim v'kadosh shemai. Right? But if you look in the pasuk in Yeshaya, where that pasuk comes from, where that phrase comes from, it says, Shoichein ad moroim v'kadosh v'esdaka u'shval ruach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is dwelling on high and with the brokenhearted and the low of spirit. That's who Hashem is with. And that's dafka who Hashem is with. The more a person considers himself worthy to stand in front of Hashem, the less at home the Shekhinah is with him. And the more a person recognizes that from me, I'm nothing, but I'm so proud to be a recipient of Hashem's love, of Hashem's Ashras Hashchina, he's the person that gets the Ashras Hashchina. It's like Torah. The Gemara says Torah, Chazal say Torah is nimshal l'mayim. Just like water always goes from a high place, it drips down to a low place. If you think that you're low, if you think that you're leave more to be desired and haven't achieved everything you want to achieve, you're the one that the Torah is coming down to. You're the one who's a recipient. People think, no, I'm a low person. I did Averis. I made mistakes. I'm sure the Torah is going to the perfect guys. That's not what Chazal say. Chazal say the Torah goes mimakim gavoya l'makim namoich. It's when we recognize that we're limited and we're small and we have more to accomplish, that's when the Torah dwells with us. And that's the zchus that we have to learn Hashem's Torah. It's an amazing, incredible zchus. The greater Hashem is, and the lower we are, the more fantastic that zchus is. But that's the reality, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu spends time with us, and He's interested in us, and He wants to be with us, and our Yiras Shamayim comes laced with joy. It's laced with joy. I have Yira from being in front of Hashem, and I can't believe Hashem wants to be with me. It's unbelievable. Hashem wants to be with me. It's unbelievable. Okay. Rabbi said we're starting a new sugya today.